Hello, welcome to yet another week, another enthralling edition of my A Week in Life vlogs. So yes, it's Monday today, Monday 5th of October. 5th of October. As I'm going to do going forward, just a quick note on my fuel price. So my Shell Fuels card through UK Fuels, I'm paying 95.19 pence this week plus the VAT. I'll add it on here what it is including VAT. I've not worked it out. So it's been quite a busy day today, especially for a Monday. Hence why I've not had a chance to film through the day. So I had a job booked in this morning. It's a job I've done before. I've done the job for the same courier, picking up from the same place before, so I kind of knew what it was when it popped up, and then when it got sent through. So same courier company, same pickup, just a different delivery address. So that was picking up from a company that does, I think they manufacture and sell like a wholesaler of stair lifts, things like that, mobility things, aids for your house. So it's picking up from their factory premises in Kings Winford, which is sort of west of Dudley, if you don't know the West Mids so well, West Midlands. And that was going down to Brackley, Northamptonshire, I think Brackley is. And that was easy pickup. Like I said, I've been there before. It's one of those companies obviously done well because it's taken over quite a few of the units in this big industrial estate. So, and there's loads of. First time I went there, it took a while to find the right door, but obviously I know where I'm going this time. So yeah, easy pickup, really easy drop off, straightforward drive, paid reasonably well. Got 63 quid for that. It's a short wheelbase job. I think I got it because the guy knows me now, to be honest. I thought I went in a bit expensive, not realising what job it was, and got it. And then from there, I was in Brackley, so I tipped there, and then hadn't got anything to eat, so I nipped around the corner to Tesco, got my meal deal for the day. I checked my feed before I went into the shop, see if there's anything local, and there was a few, so I bid on them before I went in. Got my stuff, came back to the van, and then the ones I bid on, so you can see the bar's red instead of green, they'd gone, so I thought, alright, fair enough, I didn't get any of them. So I checked again the feed, bid on a few other jobs, and picked up a job from Northampton itself. So it's a bit of a drive, and it's down as a small van job. So I went in at 67, and she rang me up. She said, "Can you do it at 60?" And I hate it when I do this because then I work at my pence per mile, and I can't remember sometimes if I priced it at my bare minimum or maybe a bit higher. I can see why she wanted to knock it down because it was a bit of a drive to Northampton, and then it was delivering to Tewkesbury. So I just went with it. I just said, yeah, whatever, yeah, I'll do that. kept me going. Cat. And then so that was a bit of a drive over to Northampton, for picking up from like a heat treatment place. Like I did treat metals, steel particularly. Industrial unit, just in a industrial estate, going over to Tewkesbury, dropped off in another small sort of unit in a bit weird to find actually, because it was in an industrial estate and there's a big entrance for this dairy, and you actually had to go into the dairy, and it was a small unit inside the dairy. It was kind of like their workshop. So yeah, found it in the end, but it was just a bit of a strange one to find. Dropped that off, but with this job, this thing happened again where shippers are sending me jobs without phoning me. So when I was at the pickup in Northampton, phone rings as I'm being loaded. A person's out with a forklift. Rings me up, and I answer the phone and goes, "Oh, hello, blah blah blah. My colleague booked you on a job from Northampton, wait and return job to Leicester. Just had the customer on the phone saying you're not there yet." I says, "Well, yeah, I'm not doing that job. I didn't get a phone call. I'm on another job now. First I've heard of it." And he wasn't narky or anything. I told him I didn't get a phone call to ask if I was still available, so it's kind of on them really. So yeah, but I hate it when it happens, because I've heard in the past, I think it happened for Pete, the courier driver, Pete Cove. He mentioned it happened to one of his guys, not him, or somebody in his firm, where that exact thing happened, and they somehow managed to leave bad feedback for him, when really it's the shipper. You know, they should be, until they phone and check that you're definitely available, and, you know, make a verbal agreement to do it. That's it, you're not booked until then. Sometimes a job will come through and you'll see it. I didn't see a notification for this one, so it was a bit of a strange one, really. But yeah, anyway, got that job off. It's been pretty much non-stop today. And then so I was in Tewkesbury. A job pinged up from Pershaw. It was down as a midi van job, which is, you know, bigger than a small van, but smaller than a short wheelbase van. Picking up in Pershaw, which is, again, I wasn't really that close to it, but I know kind of not going to be many drivers around Pershaw. It's worth bidding. And that was going to somewhere up in Derbyshire. And it was, I went in at 55. Can't remember what pence per mile that was, but again, it's another guy who rang me up and says, can you do it for 50? And I was like, yeah, whatever, something like that. Anyway, it still worked out all right. The pence per mile worked out afterwards. And that was a strange one. That was picking up from one food distribution depot and then taking it to another one, different company, but same kind of place. And it was 2 boxes of toffee apples, just, you know, open top boxes, like sometimes get veg in, but quite small. 20 toffee apples in each one, so 40 toffee apples. I got paid 50, so say the shipper's on 75, 80 for that, I would have thought. So it's probably like £2 a toffee apple. Obviously there's no money selling these toffee apples now, like, but what happened was the driver had buggered off before he was fully loaded or something, and hadn't taken these, and they were urgent. So that's, again, you know, solving a problem, a cock-up basically, in a normal transport routes. And they got to rather keep the customer, pay a lot of money and keep the customer happier rather than let them down, you know, and lose the contract, I imagine, some stuff like that. So yeah, that was a strange one. And then it's about 5 o'clock then. So yeah, I finished up in Derbyshire way, and then a job pinged up. There's a few jobs on there, and I bid on a few. One came up from Reading. It's down as a short wheelbase job, down to London, sort of East London. Yeah, and I went in a bit high for it, I think, because it's down as a short wheelbase job, so I went a bit higher. I went at 99, I think, and then she rang me up and says, "Can you do it for 95?" And I was like, "Yeah." I bid it a bit, priced it a bit high anyway. I did it for 95, but again, Rugby was like half hour, 40 minute, 30 mile drive away. Still got the job. Maybe not many people want to head down to London at that time of day, but obviously because I'm tramping, it's something I can do. That's one of the advantages of doing it the way I do it. Yeah, so picked that job up, really straightforward pickup, and all it was 5 small boxes of drinks mixers. Again, like really low value. It could have fitted in the passenger's footwell of a standard car, to be quite honest. Definitely a small van job, but it was down as a short wheelbase job, and that was delivering to like a big fancy block of flats on the River Thames, sort of like in between Canary Wharf, Isle of Dogs, and the centre of London. So outside of ULEZ, but really central. Quite an easy drop off in the end. I had to speak to the receptionist concierge, and they let me into the parking lot, and then they came down and collected it. So yeah, I've moved on from there about 9 miles, sort of, I think it's towards Romford. Just obviously couldn't really tramp in the middle of Birmingham, in the middle of London, and I don't really want to be waking up in the middle of London and then it taking forever to get anywhere. So I've moved out here, just had some fried rice, Singapore fried rice this time, because it's turning a long one for first day. Yeah, and then I'm going to tramp around here somewhere, and I think I'm within like shouldn't take too long to get to the 25 and stuff from here, so I can cover more of a catchment area and hopefully get something in the morning, getting out of London before everyone's got to London on jobs, and looking to get out of London in the afternoon and probably bidding quite cheap. You know, people just want to get home, so hopefully I'll get a longer job in the morning. That's the plan for the morning. That'd be nice. So yeah, that is Monday done. Hello. So yeah, Tuesday afternoon now, 2:30. So I was in sort of north east London this morning, Ilford I think it was, sort of that sort of area. So yeah, I tramped there last night in like a residential area just around the corner from Tesco, so I could get my meal deal in the morning, nice and fresh. Obviously can't keep them chilled in the van. Yeah, so managed to pick up a job about 9:15. It was a short wheelbase job from like the Dartford area, Belvedere, Dartford area, which is like the other side of the tunnel, other side of the Thames River. So yeah, I did get the tunnel up, the Dartford tunnel. It's a bit closer to central London. I forget what it's called now. Yeah, so that was like a 20-mile, 40-minute drive to get there, and then it was driving over to Gloucester, which is 151 miles. So I priced that at 70 pence a mile, including getting there, which loaded miles worked out about 79 pence a mile. Got the job. Quite happy just to get out of London and get sort of over this way. I struggled last week to get decent jobs out of London. I was quite happy with that. Pickup was easy enough, just from an industrial estate, the unit. Just one pallet, couldn't really see what it was, to be honest, some kind of steel work. I think it was all really well wrapped up, and that was delivering to over in Gloucester, to a company, to a fitter for a company that, by looks of it, do flood defences. So that like a private house. So where I'm sat now, which is just around the corner, because I don't like to hang around when I've done a tip. And only, even if I'm stopping for my lunch, I like to just tip, get all the paperwork, and then just get around the corner just in case there's something wrong with it. And then there's, they might come back on you, but it's not really something you can sort, so I tend to just disappear as quick as I can. If there are issues and they want me to do extra, ship can phone me, can't we? That's the way I work it. So I'm just around the corner now, and you can tell flood defences. So the River Severn, I think, is just over there, looking at the map. I can tell you in a flood area, obviously. See our little post, got the old height marker. So yeah, clearly this place floods quite a lot. Quite possibly would have flooded last week, all that rain we had at the end of last week. Yeah, so that's Tuesday so far. Actually seems really quiet in Gloucester here. Like, normally I'm sat in Gloucester, so I should be getting notifications for Cheltenham, parts of Bristol as well, and I did see some from Swindon and Cirencester and all that lot. Since I've been sat here, there's probably maybe 45 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 have popped up. So yeah, looking pretty quiet around here. Hopefully I'll get something. Obviously a good day yesterday, so I'm thinking maybe Mondays are busy, obviously get things going. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday are possibly slow, and then it picks up Thursday, and then Friday's a good day. I think that's probably how it's working at the moment. And when it's a quiet day, it's normally fair enough, decent amount of work in the morning, but yeah, like jobs in the afternoon tend to be picking up the day after in the morning. That's what I'm seeming to find. And you get the odd job, which is pick up that afternoon. So yeah, hopefully I get something else. So it was 119 for that first job. I think I'm working out about 70 pence a mile so far, loaded and unloaded. These up until today, it's obviously only just the start of the week, but yeah, that's Tuesday so far. Right. Still Tuesday, just gone 10:15 at night, and I'm in Sunderland in the northeast, which was somewhere I said I'm unlikely to go, but that's obviously in a perfect world. If the right job turns up and it's quiet, that's how I've ended up here, really. So yeah, after that last bit, I was sat in a retail park. I moved down to a retail park just around the corner. And then a job pinged up. It's like I say, it's a bit slow, but a job did ping up in Tewkesbury again, which is only like 20 minutes from where I was. It was a bit less than 20 miles. but it's a long job up to Sunderland. So I thought, it was a small van job, so I thought, you know, it's, if I'm going up there, it's got to be decent money. So I priced it, including getting there at 72.5 pence a mile. I thought very unlikely to get it, but it's worth a punt. Sure enough, the shipper phones me up shortly after. When I'm busy cleaning the inside of the van, I got myself some a new pack of dashboard wipes. So I was cleaning the inside of the van. I was a bit shocked really when the phone rang, and he gave me the job. So yeah, I headed off towards Tewkesbury. Phones me on the way up, says, "Oh, we just got another job come in for Nuneaton. Do you fancy doing it on the way?" It says it's an extra 10 miles it'll add to your journey. So I said, "Oh, I thought go in and extra." I said, "An extra 25 quid." He goes, call it 20 and it's yours. So I was like, all right. So yeah, I put extra 20 on the job to drop that off. So the pickup was from this company's depot in Tewkesbury. It's like one of the actual shippers on the CX. And I'd actually heard of them before I started doing light haulage and stuff, because they've got vans that they're one of the service providers to Amazon, you know, the actual vans. And I've seen their vans at the Amazon depot in Droitwich, because that's their local one. I think they do other depots as well. But anyway, picked up from them. It's quite simple. I had one pallet for the first place in the Nuneaton and a box for Sunderland. So yeah, just lashed down a pallet, blah blah blah, get going. Got to the Nuneaton one. It's a bit of a funny drop. It was like an A road, a big A road, but out in the country. It was just on the side of the road was like, it looked like a private house, and you went in the gate, proper big gate, and there was a business there as well besides a house, and it's some kind of, looked like some kind of safety firm, but wasn't entirely sure what they did. I was taking some steel work to them, they looked like really thimbles, like metal thimbles, but they were quite big, probably like the size of your fist, and they were hollowed out, and there's loads of them on a pallet, and there's a few other boxes. And I get there, and I just got there in time. It's 5 to 5, and there's no one there who could drive the forklift anymore. It's just like the office staff. So there's like 4 or 5 office staff, and me had to handball this pallet into the office, left the pallet with them, and they're going to sort it out from there. But and literally as I was leaving, they're all going. So if I got there 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, there would have been no one there. So God knows what would have happened. So just about dodged that bullet. And shot up to here, to Sunderland, Machieville. Don't mix Sunderland and Newcastle. I used to live in Newcastle. So there's obviously a big rivalry between the Geordies and the Mackhams. Yeah, so I'm actually in Washington now. So I delivered a box to I'll say where it was because it's a massive place, the Nissan factory. And I think it was a company who does some of the maintenance in the factory. And it looked like it was just some materials, not so much parts or tools. It was some kind of sealant by the look of the box. Yeah, that was that. So dropped just before 9. But that job originally, I priced it at £187, with the extra 20, 207 and 119 this morning. Obviously, really good day, over 300 quid again. I did like 268 yesterday. So I'm doing really well so far this week. But I'm obviously in the northeast now, so wait and see what happens in the morning. So I say I'm in Washington now because I came to get some chips. And I've headed this way, so it's quite good here near all the major roads, sort of going up to Newcastle, south to Middlesbrough, Darlington and stuff, and then roads going into Sunderland. So I think it's probably the best place in this part of the world to perch. So yeah, I'll hopefully get something out of here in the morning, so more tomorrow. Right, Wednesday afternoon now, just after 4. So yeah, it's actually quite a reasonable day. So I was in in Washington in the northeast, sort of like just west of Sunderland. Yeah, so I tramped in just a residential street after having them chips last night, just on the corner from the chippy. And then this morning I was quite chuffed, really. I don't know if chuffed's the right word, but there was a fair few jobs coming up in the northeast, sort of, not that I could quote quoted on maybe 5 or 6 from like just before 8 o'clock. Didn't get any of them, but job pinged up just before 10. It was down as a medium wheelbase job, but looking at the dimensions, low dimensions, it was like max length 180. I was thinking, why is that medium wheelbase? So I bid quoted on it. I was only like 3 miles from it, and it was down to Newcastle under Lyme, so I was nearly Newcastle upon Tyne, but it was down to Newcastle under Lyme, ST5 by Stoke. And I really wanted a job, so I kind of wanted to get out of the northeast, get more down here. So I quoted it, including getting there miles. It's only 3 miles at 68 pence a mile. It's one of these ones where the shipper, maybe it's the driver himself, he wants you to text the price. So text the price, got the job, and funnily enough, it was picking up from Nissan in Sunderland. So same gate as yesterday, the goods in, goods out gate. Different like part of the factory, and I just had to pick something up. And it was going to something down here, some tooling kind of company in ST5, I say near Stoke. And the thing I was picking up was quite interesting actually. It was a car bumper, but it was like really quite a flimsy bumper, front car bumper, but it was like covered in bubble wrap. But you could see through the bubble wrap, and it had that black and white sort of paint scheme, that or vinyl scheme that prototype cars have when you see them on the front of car magazines and stuff. So yeah, I dropped it off down this end. I said to the guy, I says, "Oh, look, is it a prototype or something?" Not the one that's been too nosy. He goes, "Yeah, it's all very top secret." And apparently what they do, they set up the jigs or something, or make the jigs for the way it's held up there, and maybe put on the vehicle, I don't know, part of the production line. So that was quite interesting. Really simple journey down, no traffic at all. So that put me in Stoke just before 2, so dropped off about 1:45. So I thought, I'm in Stoke, there's a depot, Amazon depot in Stoke, not done any multi-drop in a while, not done any flex in a while. So I checked on there, and there was a 2.5 hour block at 2:15. So I had half an hour to get there, and it said I'd take 25 minutes to get there. For 50 quid, because obviously it's within half an hour of pickup time, and I was pretty confident at that time it would be normal delivery, not the same day. So easier to deliver, getting done a lot quicker. So select that, swiped, and it was still available, and I got it. So I did that. So finished that about 3:45. So it took like 2 hours from getting it. So that included getting there for 50 quid. I got 20 miles for 50 quid. So that's boosted my miles, pence per mile for the day. I'm only about 40 miles from home now. So I'm pretty knackered now, because I had 2 really good weeks so far, 2 really busy days, long days. And then today, so I'm just going to go home now. Spend the night at home, have home cooked meal, shower, kip in my own bed, and then go out tomorrow and probably tramp Thursday and then back Friday. So that's Thursday. So 50 plus 129 for Friday, Wednesday, sorry. So that's 179 for today. I think roughly doing it in my head, I'm about a day ahead of schedule. So I think I've done about 800-ish already, and it's only 3 days in. So obviously not hoping it carries on this week. It'd be nice to have to really beat my target. That'd be good, but that's Wednesday done. Right, Thursday now, about 5 o'clock, 5. So I got home last night after doing the Amazon block. Just worked out quite well, really. Nice to be home, cooked myself some home cooked food, obviously, and made sure there's leftovers for today. So instead of having a sandwich or another meal deal salad, just seem to eat tons of. So I didn't start bidding for jobs this morning until about 9, and I picked up a job from Birmingham down to London. Forget the postcode, but it's just north of sort of Euston Road again. Seems to go to Euston Road a lot. Pickup was easy enough. It was just from a fabrication unit in an industrial estate. and it's dropping off to like a building site down here, so I was a bit apprehensive about that, but it turned out alright in the end. It was a decent big yard which they use for unloading trucks, 44-ton Arctic trucks and stuff. There's a few of them there getting emptied of bricks, unloaded of bricks. So I just went and parked in the corner. Two guys actually lifted a pallet out, did the paperwork and stuff, and I thought, well, I'm just going to back up here and sit here for a bit and go through the feed while I'm sat here, rather than, because in London it's a nightmare trying to find somewhere to park, somewhere just to park up at the side of the road that isn't permit holders only, or yellows and red lines and God knows what else. So yeah, I thought I'll just sit here for a while. Probably sat there for about half an hour going through the feed, because there's loads of jobs on there, bidding on what I could do. Didn't get anything. Eventually moved on, picked up a small van job, just kind of like East London to West London. So I'm just off the A40 now. And I only bid 40 quid for it. I think it was too little, because in the CX app it will tell you how far to pick up and how long it will take to get there, and then it tells you the job as well. How long's the job, how long will it take. What I've noticed before, particularly in London, is I don't think it has like traffic updates, so it's kind of like best case sometimes time, and when you put it into Google, instead of it being 25 minutes to get there, it's not, it's 45 minutes, and to get here it's not just over an hour, it's an hour and 40 minutes. So I end up 40 quid for about 2.5 hours work, which obviously isn't enough. Mileage wise it works out 40 quid for 30 miles, so pence per mile is really high. But in terms of pounds per hour on the job kind of thing, it's too low, including getting there, which is something you have to do now. Anyway, got that job, got that off. I've just tipped that. In a similar situation, it's some kind of big officey type block. So I've come in the tradesman's entrance to the post room, delivered it, used their toilet, which is good, because it's another thing it's hard to find in London, because all the supermarkets are tiny ones and don't have toilets. And anyway, yeah, used their facilities, and I've just sat here now because I've got one to pick up. It's actually in the ULEZ. It's going to be the first time ever I've been in the ULEZ from a storage place, and that's going to Birmingham, but I can't pick up till 7. So I've got probably another 45 minutes to kill. So I did, what was it? 99 for the first job, 40 for that one, and this one's 87. So it's going to be 229, but I'm going to have to pay 15 quid congestion zone charge. So that'll knock it a bit off the profit. So even after that, let's say 22, I don't know. Anyway, I'll work out in the thing later, but still an alright day, and I think by the end of today, end of Thursday, I should have roughly done my grand for the week, my 200 a day for 5 days, so be a bit late getting back to Birmingham, but another night to start spending my bed. And then tomorrow, I'm not going to come down near South East or London. I'm going to maybe try and go north. I'm going to be a bit picky tomorrow because I've made my money for the week. Obviously, nice to have another good day, another 200 quid day. Make 12 for the week, that would be nice. But I'd like to go to Northwest, because I think Northwest is busy on a Friday. So maybe the Midlands, Northwest, maybe the Southwest, sort of Bristol way. But I'm going to try and avoid coming down to London, just because I've had enough of it today. So that's pretty much Thursday in a nutshell. Right, Friday, last day of the week. So yeah, just after filming that yesterday, while I was killing time in like the delivery part of that office block, killing time ready for me to trundle into central London. Managed to get a job for this morning, which yeah, that job yesterday went off alright actually in the end. Yeah, I said it was picking up from a storage base place, and I turned up and all the shutters was open. I was pulled in on the side of the road, and central London, thinking, oh god, what's going on here? Kind of thought the place would be open, have a reception. As soon as I jumped out of the van, this guy comes up to me and goes, oh, are you delivering something? I'm like, yeah. And he just kind of like passed me a box. He was the right guy. He just, I don't think it wasn't from the storage area, it was just the guy wanted to meet me there for some reason. Yeah, and that was a pretty straightforwardish drive up to Birmingham. But then at the delivery point, bit of an odd one. That was all locked up as well, and they'd sent me instructions on via WhatsApp, a key code for a lockbox, and I had to put it in a shed and lock it and take a photo showing that it was there, because obviously I couldn't get anyone to sign for it, so I just had to take a photo. Anyway, that was yesterday. Yeah, so picked up this job from Albury, which is not that far from me, sort of just off the M5, heading down to Bristol. It was a company I've done work for before. It's the third time I've been to this pickup for the same company. They do wholesalers for building materials, plasterboard, insulation, all that stuff. It's not your normal builder's yard. It's not actually a builder's yard. I think they're the people that supply builder's yards, or they supply house builders. So when it came through, I was like, I hope it's not plaster, because it has been the last 2 times, and I hope it's not going to a building estate, a new building of a new housing estate. And thankfully it wasn't. It was roof tiles, I think, for false ceilings, and something else, just on a pallet, really clean, and it was going to their depot in Bristol. So no manky building sites, which was a bonus. So straight down the M5, that was like a 2-hour job, 59 quid. Priced it like 68 pence a mile, but it was down as a small van job, so I think it's borderline short wheelbase by weight, to be honest. It felt a bit heavy in the van. Not massively heavy, but you get to feel how it accelerates and stuff. What's the weight's like once you know your van. I found so that put me in Bristol. There were jobs coming up. I was bidding, but like I said, I didn't want to be going down the southeast too much. Job pinged up to Hereford from Bristol, 10 minutes down the road from where I was. I thought Hereford's not the best place, but I go in a bit expensive. That was like short wheelbase job, 53 miles. Wasn't far from it, 10 minutes. I went in at 49. Got the job. Just picking up from like a depot of a parcel delivery company, one I've never heard of before, to be honest. And it was delivering to the hospital in Hereford, but some people don't like hospitals, but I just went to a delivery bay. Obviously don't avoid all the parking and paid parking, straight to a delivery bay. Yeah, no trouble. And that was just a box, and I think it was parts for a coffee machine, I think, because it was Costa Coffee, basically. They must have a Costa Coffee there, and it was for the attention of an engineer. So obviously some guy's going to go there and fix it or service their coffee machines, and they're the parts for them. That put me in Hereford. Lovely drive to get there, and from there as well, to be honest. It was just nice to drive into the countryside, which I'm kind of still in now, but not in Hereford. So that was Hereford done. From there, a few jobs did actually ping up in Hereford, and if it wasn't Friday, I would have gone for both of them. So both going to the southeast, but they're no use to me today, so couldn't bid for them. And I thought, not much comes up in Hereford area anyway, and a lot likely to have been the job that I could actually do on a Friday. And between Hereford and home is the Amazon depot in Droitwich, so I checked on there. There was some on there, but not great. It was like a 2.5 hour block, 2:45, and it was the standard money, so I think it was like 36 quid. But I thought, stuff it, I'm just going to take it. So I went for that one, got it. I was hoping it would be normal delivery, but it was a bit of a mixed block, this one. Bit of a bitzer, because some of the packages were marked the same day. Some of them were just the normal cycle 1, cycle 2, which is your normal delivery. Yeah, so that took a bit longer. It actually took me 2 hours from getting to the depot to doing the last one, which isn't great really. 2.5 hour block I had in Stoke the other day. That took me like 90 minutes, if that, from getting to the depot to getting it done, probably less. But that was all standard delivery. Yeah, so it was actually mostly in Droitwich, and then a bit in and around Droitwich, which is kind of where I am now on this country lane. Can't really see a great deal, but yeah, just nice to get out in the country. Done a lot of motorway driving this week. Had a good week. Takings wise, I'm over £1,000, probably 1100-ish, I think. But more of that in the summary. Right, time for Sunday summary. So Sunday evening now, about 6 o'clock. Yeah, so worked the full 5 days this week. So yeah, I tramped Monday night, Tuesday night, and then I managed to, purely by luck, stay at home Wednesday night, Thursday night, which was nice. I think I did 12 jobs off the CX, off the Sexchange, and I did 2 Amazon Flex blocks. So Monday was 4 CX jobs, 63, 60, 50 and 95, which was £268 for the day. Tuesday was 2 CX jobs, 119 and 207, so 326. That was the best day of the week, takings wise. Wednesday, 1 1 CX job, which is 129, and then a £50 flex block, so that's 179. Thursday, just 3 courier exchange jobs, 99, 40 and 87, so 226. And then Friday I did 2 CX jobs, 59 and £55, and then a flex block which was only £32.50, but it kind of got me home, and that was £146.50 for the day. So that was the worst day of the week, but I quite often finding that Friday's harder for me to make the money, because Monday to Thursday I'm in tramping mode, sort of like much more flexible, whereas Friday I'm either trying to get home or stay around home. And I think, it was just didn't really work out Friday. I was a bit disappointed, but I'd already hit my target for the week by then. By the end of Thursday I'd done about £1,000, and then Friday was kind of almost like extra money on top, so it wasn't too bad. So total for the week was £145.50, which works out at £229.10 a day. And as ever, that's just what I quoted, and the payments, so they're like pre-VAT, my takings, so VAT would be added on top of that. It doesn't include obviously costs coming out of that, and any tax I have to pay as a sole trader. Mileage, from doing 5 days, it tends to be around the 1,500 miles mark, and it was 1,599 miles this week. My actual pence per mile this week was 71.6 pence a mile, so that's all miles from leaving on the Monday to getting home on the Friday. So that's, since I've been working out this way and tracking it, so before lockdown I didn't do any of this. It's only really I started doing this for the vlog, a week in a life vlogs, and I'm getting quite a lot out of it, whereas before I didn't really analyse it like this. So I do get something out of, I get a lot out of doing these videos myself, as well as obviously all your tips and feedback and help. So that's my best week. I'm pretty sure I didn't do that well before lockdown. I'm still new to it, but I was obviously really new to it then. So my best pence per mile, my best overall takings, just a good week really, which is obviously promising. So other things I kind of taken from this week, I obviously took a chance going up to Sunderland, Washington area, just because it was a good job, and I thought I'd chance my arm early in the week. And I found there was a fair few jobs coming out of the northeast that day when I was up there. And then once I got the jobs were still coming up in the northeast as I was driving down, because after I got to the tip I could see all the notifications like that had come up since I was driving down, so I had a quick look through them. So that's obviously a positive, because I like going to the northeast, having lived in Newcastle for 2 years. Love the place, so that's a good point for me. Not so good was Friday afternoon, a bit slow, so I ended up in Hereford. Obviously Hereford's not the best place to go. That was a mistake. I shouldn't, if I go there, if it wasn't Friday, it probably would have worked out, because a couple of jobs did come up from Hereford while I was there, but they were going to the southeast, which obviously I'm not going to do on a Friday afternoon when I live in the West Midlands. And one of the jobs, it kept getting reposted, so I think they were struggling to get anyone to take it, and that was the Leon Sea down the southeast somewhere. So I would have done really well if that day wasn't Friday. Basically, I reckon I could have got that for reasonable money. Would have made a good day. So a learning for me now is don't go to these places that are probably likely to be quiet on a Friday. Seems pretty obvious. Don't know why I did it, because there's a big chance of jobs coming up in that area, and if they do come up, the chances of it going somewhere which you can do is pretty slim on a Friday, whereas the rest of the week it's pretty much go anywhere apart from Scotland and a few other places. So much more flexible. Yeah, so that's my summary of the week. So next week I'm going to only doing 4 days, Tuesday to Friday, because the van, if you watched last week's vlog, the van went in for its first service with like an independent Renault specialist. They found an oil leak on it. Advised I take it back to Renault to get it sorted. It should get sorted under warranty. So I've obviously got to take it to the Renault dealer for them to look at it. So it's booked in tomorrow morning. I've got to leave it tomorrow morning and pick it up at the end of the day. And they're not going to have time to fix it tomorrow because it's only booked in for like an inspection. So it's one of these ones. Even though it's a new van, I got it with 11 miles on, and they're going to fix it under warranty. Hopefully they don't like dig their heels in and stuff and get arsy about me taking it somewhere else for servicing. So this was an independent Renault specialist, and they know what they're doing and use genuine parts and gave me the invoice stating all that and stuff. So they shouldn't really have a leg to stand on, but you never know, they might be a bit funny about it. Hopefully not. So they're not going to fix it tomorrow. The best that can happen tomorrow is they agree, they're going to do it under warranty. It's only a very slight leak, like don't have to put much oil in it at all, but I do every now and then. I obviously want it to get fixed just in case it gets worse, and obviously I'll have to sell it in like 18 months anyway, so I want it fixed. So when it comes to fixing it, I imagine it's a day job, a half a day job for them. I'll probably have to book it in again, so I'm going to lose 2 days off the run, even though it's a new van, but I think that's just something you have to accept. When I had the AdBlue fault with it after 8,000 miles, I had it over a week because I couldn't drive it because it would refuse to drive. We've only got so much. It's like if you don't fill up the AdBlue tank, you've got like 500 miles, and because it had an AdBlue fault, I had that 500 miles and I couldn't drive it any further. So basically the van was broken down then, so they kept it for over a week, but I got a hire van through Renault, which was really good. That was back when I was doing Yodel. I can't see that happening this time. They're probably just going to book it in for another day and I'll have to take it there, and it's not worth getting a hire van for 1 day. So that's next week. So obviously, as ever, down below, any comments on things that have come up this week. You can offer me any tips, or anyone else who watches this, tips or advice. Or if you've got any questions, I'll try to answer them. Like I say, I'm no massive expert myself. Still finding my way. But what I really want to ask this week is I've been putting a fuel card price on my vlogs the last couple of weeks. So this week just gone, which is what I'm summarising here. My fuel card price, which is a Shell card through UK Fuels, was 95.19 pence a litre. That's pre-VAT obviously, and with that works at about 114.2, which from what everyone else is saying they're paying for fuel, so that's using about 150 to 180 litres a week I use at the moment, a full week. People are saying they're paying 89 pence a litre, which is 6 pence a litre cheaper. So I think I've never really challenged it, but time's obviously for me to challenge it. So want to drop the van off tomorrow. I'm going to come home, I'm going to chase up UK Fuel, see if I can do a better price, but I think I'm going to get another fuel card. I've had a look online. I think I'm going to go with, or at least ring up Harvest Energy. They seem to apparently do a reasonable price, and they don't take the piss. They don't like give you a good price for 3 weeks and then start to creep it up. And you don't have to chase them. They pretty sound like that from what I've read. So I'm going to give them a go. But anyone else got any recommendations for good fuel cards? I'm not one for using supermarket fuel. I know that's a bit of a contentious issue, but I want one that's using more branded fuels, ones that's got supposedly got all these additives to keep the engine running clean, and possibly got less biodiesel in. I think that's another difference. So any tips for fuel cards, please put them below. Yeah, because I'm not really happy with mine, obviously. Right, so that's the week done, really, and the summary done. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching and got something out of it. Thanks for watching.